Start it up. You got to start it up. Ooh, start it up, and only the
Oh,
people that watch it later from the beginning get to see this part. Ha! Ha!
I I wonder what it looks like on. It started up now.
Yeah,
Let
it's
me
up.
go to let me go to Twitter and see.
I don't. Yeah, let me know. I don't think it's on Twitter. Does it? Is it? What account is it tied to?
Apathetic enthusiasm. Let me look up.
Apathetic enthusiasm. Let's see if
Let's
we
see.
went live. I don't think we
Oh, it's live.
on Twitter. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
my
Oh
my God.
my god.
Oh my
Well,
God.
well, hello, Twitter.
Wow.
Um,
But so much
that's
easier on Twitter.
yeah, that's easy. Except
I,
except now you need to retweet that tweet
uh,
from the the Rick and Morty account. 'Cause that's where
oh.
the real followers are.
Oh yeah, true. Let me share. Let me share the broadcast.
Also, if you're following us on Apathetic Enthusiasm, we love you. I mean, you're one of us.
God, I'm so bright. My camera is so bright.
Your camera is bright. Your lights are bright. Your background's bright. Everything's bright.
It's bright. Everything's
Is
bright. Oh,
that like a PTA shirt for like your kid's school or something?
shh, shh, shush, 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 shush. We don't need to. We don't need to talk.
Nobody needs to know. Do you know what this symbol is?
Oh, that look. It's better now, right? Like I'm not as.
Yeah, no, you totally crushed it. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Shush, shush, shush. No,
Shush,
I,
shush,
I
shush,
by,
shush.
by the way, this is Chelsea's shirt that I'm wearing right now.
You know what I definitely don't do? Wear my wife's clothing.
PTA. Well, I like being close to my wife. You know.
That's no, I like being close to my wife. Just
Well, I
I
don't
don't
know.
I don't wear her clothes.
I don't know. I don't know if you do. I'm wearing one of her bras right now too. That's how much I like being a part of her life.
That's great. That's good. If you're just joining us, this is a little this is just, a little hangout before we start the show. Getting loose. Your future's bright. Your reflection off your glass is bright. Your personality is bright. Good to have you with us, D
Hey.
Squeeze. Thank you for joining us tonight. So glad you're here. If you have questions for Brandon, questions for me, questions in general, I want you to drop those in the chat tonight, and then maybe we'll get to answer
Yeah.
some of those during this episode. I need to grab a writing utensil because I cleaned my desk, Brandon. I cleaned my desk and I put all the writing utensils in a cup over here. Actually, I'll just use this whiteboard that I put next to my desk.
Let me tell you a little story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you a little story about my life. We bought a pencil sharpener.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Homeschool. Let's
an
go.
automatic one, and there's a little cup with all these sharpened pencils in it. So I've been doing a lot of project work lately, a lot of random stuff, and it's convinced me, it's gotten me to use pencils and write my ideas down on paper a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is I'm in the kitchen and I'm writing on piece of paper, and then I come in here to my office space to execute what I can. But then I leave the pencil in here and I go back in the kitchen later and I'm like, where the hell are the pencils? And come back in here and there's like three or four just kind of like one here, one there. They're all strewn about everywhere. It's great. It's
So
wonderful.
so you have an abundance of pencils is what you have.
That is what I'm
Mm.
telling you. Yeah.
Good. 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 You know what we need to do, Brandon? We need to start the show. It's 8 o'clock.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's 9 o'clock
Yeah.
on the East Coast.
You
Uh
don't get any chat notifications for the Twitter stuff, huh?
oh, I don't. Are people chatting it up on the Twitters? I
Only
get
only oh only me. It does show up. Eh? Eh?
oh, Periscoops. Thank you for the host, D Squeeze. You're
Yes.
the real MVP. Yeah, we're gonna start it up here. So, are you recording, Brandon?
Oh no. Nope. I'll go ahead and start doing that. Boop. I'm recording now.
Oh, yeah, I should do that too.
Oh,
I am recording now,
fantastic. Make sure.
which means it's time for you to make all the noises that start the show.
You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
On tonight's episode, we talk about Muppets Now and horror hosting on Zoom with the movie host. This is Apathetic Enthusiasm.
This is Apathetic Enthusiasm. Thank you for joining us wherever you're at. Where if you're here on Twitter, now that you can watch on Twitter, evidently you could always watch on Twitter. I just didn't know. I didn't know that.
We just didn't know it.
Or if you're on Twitch, or if you're on YouTube, or if you're listening from the comfort of your electronic device. It's like a weird reboot type thing that's going on, or Tron.
Yeah, if you're in Tron right now, thanks for listening. Hi, I'm Travis.
Hey, I'm Brandon, and welcome to the show. If this is the first time you're listening, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome still. You still get that lovely welcome. There's a few ways you can get a hold. I don't know how to.
You just take a break, Brandon. You relax. This is Apathetic Enthusiasm, the show where we talk about the things that we're doing, the things that we're not doing, the things you're into, the things we're into. And the way you can tell us what you're into is by following us on social media. So if you go out to Twitter at Apathusiast, you can actually catch this stream right now out on Twitter. You can also follow me at Jugglemino. He's at Barnyard Cruise. We're over on Facebook at facebook.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm Show. And you can send us an email with your questions, comments, concerns, complaints. Maybe you might have complaints over at apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. We're on Instagram, apathetic_enthusiasm. And of course, this show, as well as everything else we do podcast wise, over at apatheticenthusiasm.com. We are streaming live on multiple platforms over on Twitch, twitch.tv/apatheticenthusiasm, or youtube.com/apatheticenthusiasm. And then that sweet Twitter going out live on Periscope. Brandon just randomly adding platforms tonight. So yeah, if you go to the Apathetic Enthusiasm Twitter, you can catch that as well. And then there are ways to buy our love. Of course, you can support the show numerous ways. You can go to our TeePublic page. apatheticenthusiasm.com/shop is the best way to get there. Some curated Rick and Morty t-shirts, some t-shirts with our animated faces on them. You can also go to Patreon, patreon.com/Rick and Morty pod. We are doing a major Patreon overhaul, and we are smack dab in the middle of our anniversary event. Or are we leading? Smack dab? Is it smack dab?
Yeah, it's smack dab.
Okay. Smack dab. Smack dab in the middle of our Patreon anniversary with some special bonuses that you can get if you sign up to be a patron at any level. The lowest level starts at $1 a month. It's a quarter a week, you guys. Quarter an episode. Pop a quarter in the old jukebox, the old podcast jukebox. Brandon, that's all the necessaries. How the heck are you?
That's great. That was great. I wasn't doing too well, but then I listened to you really nail those links, and I can swear to you, it's like having come from from one of those massage parlors that, like, just the one of the shady ones, over by where the old VHS rental store used to be, but now it's a massage parlor next to like a little mom and pop liquor store, but it hasn't been owned by a mom and pop for some years. It's actually owned by one of their nephews now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Who,
I feel
he owns it. He's cool with it, but like at the same time, he's kind of like, I could have done a lot of other stuff, but somebody had to take it. I mean, I'm doing my part.
So exactly right, and that's how I feel. I feel like I just came out of the massage parlor next to that place.
Good. Good. I'm glad. I hope you're loosened up. You're ready. You're ready to hang out, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm fucking stoked. Because tonight, I you know, I don't I the first topic that we're gonna talk about, I didn't know that this was coming out. I wasn't expecting it, and so I think the title is kind of apt for it coming out of nowhere with the exclamation point and everything. It is Muppets Now, which is on Disney Plus,
yeah.
and it came out on my birthday weekend. By the way, thank you for the birthday.
Happy birthday. Thanks to everybody who wished Brandon happy birthday on various social media platforms. Both of you that did that. Thank you so much.
But Muppets Now, I don't know if I was excited about it, because the last thing that the Muppets came out with was that the Muppets show, which was an office style show,
Yeah,
and
like
I wasn't too thrilled by it.
single camera style in that like mockumentary sort of
Yeah,
try capitalize on The Office, Parks and Rec, all of those shows that have done really well, and they tried to do that on ABC a few years back. I think we actually talked about on this show.
yeah, we
Um,
have.
and we have a separate but both pretty long standing enjoyment of the Muppets in
Yeah.
general. Uh, I've enjoyed the Muppets my whole life. The original Muppet Show, I think, is some just terrific comedic stuff in there. The idea of a good like solid variety show that we really don't see too often anymore, at least in that specific style. And but the Muppets are timeless themselves and have been able to adjust with the changes in technology, the changes in stories. They fit into any story when you look at the different movies and things that they've done. And I definitely was a little soured, I guess, on the recent Muppet projects with that show. The second Muppets movie, the Muppets Most Wanted, I think,
Yeah.
after the reboot of the Muppets with the great music from uh,
Brit.
Brit
Brit.
and was it Jason Segel
Yeah.
in that movie? The introduction of Walter. But yeah, since then I was like, okay, they haven't done a lot of like terrific stuff. But now Muppets Now drops on Disney Plus in the Disney Plus style of one episode a week. They are not dropping a full season right away. You're not going to binge watch this show. You're going to have to watch it one episode at a time. And as of this recording, I think 2 episodes have been released.
Yes. As of this recording,
As of right meow.
right now, it comes out on Fridays. New episodes
Yeah.
come out on Fridays. What had you heard about this before it came out, or was it months before? I'm not talking about like, there's going to be something coming out next week. Like, were you aware of a new show coming out?
I believe I had heard some. I hadn't known a lot about what it was going to be. I knew there was a new Muppet show coming out on Disney Plus. That's about all I knew. I didn't know anything about format, what they were doing with it. I just knew that they were planning to make a new Muppet show, and I knew that like early on, I think, and then I think I forgot about it because I definitely wasn't tracking that this was coming out when it did.
Right.
I got an email from Disney Plus saying, "Hey, new content coming out. Check out the new Muppet show that's out now." And I was like, "Oh." And so then I turned it on, watched it. I got like 10 minutes into it and immediately texted you and was like, "Hey, you might want to check out this new Muppet show on Disney Plus. It's pretty legit."
Yeah, I when you texted me, I think I had already I saw it because we watch Simpsons every night for dinner, and so
That's all we feed our children is a healthy dose of Simpsons every night.
every single night. I love it. Teaching him the good stuff. But so when it showed up on that Friday, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll watch it sometime. And then I think after you texted me, that's when I decided, you know what, we'll give it a shot. And that first episode, I liked it for the most part. Um, some bits stronger than others. Really anything with Piggy, like as her being the focal point, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Um, but then this latest episode, I was like, okay, this is closer to what I think this show should be. That it needs to be. There's more Piggy in it, but it wasn't as focused on her.
Yeah, and it didn't open with her, or it didn't go right to her segments right away, which I was totally fine with. I do think the in style Miss Piggy segments are probably like my least favorite as well so far, but even those, they have some good jokes in them. It was interesting because they had the same guest in both episodes. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if that was intentional, like if and you got to help me with names because I'm awful.
Ty or Tay Diggs. He was in
Yeah.
Miss Piggy's segment. Oh, and uh, Linda Cardellini.
That's the name.
El-
Linda yeah.
Elma.
Velma, yeah. I was thinking of Freaks and Geeks and then like
Yeah.
100 other things. But yeah, so let's
Well,
let's break down the show a little bit and talk about
please.
what it is. So
Please.
Muppets, please, Brandon, please. So Muppets
Can I-
Now.
Can I finish? What is Muppets Now? What is Muppets Now? We've talked about Muppets Now, but have we talked about what Muppets Now is? We've compared it to the movies. We compared it to the genre films that they've done. We've compared it to
I don't
even
think we've done any of that. I mean, I don't know if we've fully. I mean, I've mentioned them. I didn't compare them.
Oh, true. Well, let's compare them to that because what the Muppets do. Let's take it back to. Well, okay. Let's just say what it is.
Yeah. So this is essentially a variety show for the 2000s, right? The age of the internet. Muppets Now is produced as streaming content, right? So just like you would upload videos to YouTube, or like we're doing now live to Twitch and Periscope and all these places, Skeeter is behind Scooter.
Skeeter's from Muppet Babies,
Yeah.
bruh.
Also some quality content. Scooter is running the show. He is uploading all of the content and is often being pestered by Fozzie or Kermit to make sure that things are going correctly. But he's back in his producer role, and each segment, instead of being a variety show where Kermit comes out and announces, "Hey, it's so and so, yay!" They are these sketches essentially that are presented as digestible web content. And so a few of the things that we've seen so far on the show, we mentioned one of them already, was Miss Piggy's in style, but they forget the LE, so it's in sty, and then they just kind of write in the LE at the end. There is a cooking segment with the Swedish Chef. It is a competition cooking show, much like every show that's on the Food Network these days, where they have celebrity chefs come in and compete against the Swedish Chef. Some of my favorite bits so far. What else have we had? We had
You have Bunsen and Beaker, and they're doing they're doing the standard YouTube video where they take things and then they destroy them. They destroy them with fire.
It's almost like Mythbusters-esque, but like
Yeah. So I do want to talk about that. In a second. There's a couple other Pepe the Prawns game show.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a solid one.
Pepe's unbelievable game show. I was incorrect. It's not Insty, it's Lifesty with Miss
That's right.
Piggy. The Swedish Chef's show is Okie Dokie Cookin'. You have Muppet Labs Field Test, that's Bunsen and Beaker. And then Mupp Close and Personal. This is a celebrity interview with Kermit. And then Muppet Masters, which is with Walter. And Walter is discovering a Muppet's hidden talent. So those are the sketches that we have seen so far across 2 episodes.
Gonna get into the sketches one by one. We already mentioned the Miss Piggy one, the Okie Dokie Cookin'.
Okie dokie.
The first episode. There's been 2 episodes of it. There's clips of it on each episode. The first one I laughed at, but the second one was it was golden. It was chef's kiss.
Well, for starters, his guest is was it Danny?
Probably one of my relatives, Danny Trejo.
Yeah, and he was making tacos. He was making mole tacos. That's right. And the Swedish Chef killed me absolutely. Ooh, the spicy pepper. Ooh, the spicy.
Ooh, spicy fingers.
Swedish Chef he's so like he's the worst celebrity chef, where he like is so full of himself in this iteration, and like so confident but still completely bumbling and incapable. It's terrific. It's really great.
But by the way, Danny Trejo is wonderful. They had a mustache off. Who had the best mustache? The Pepe the Prawn one. Literally, they opened with that video, and that killed me because Pepe turns out is just a perfect host for a game show. Like that personality is so solid.
Well, and it's great because you have Scooter with him, who is trying to run the game show as prepared, and Pepe's just like, whatever. Let's just who wants points? You want points? Points. 100 points for you, 1,500 points for you. Whatever. Okay, next one. Staring contest, right? And so he just kind of makes the game show up as you go along. And it's pretty hilarious. Great cameo by Gonzo in that one too, and his lady chickens. The joke there with them in the lightning round, I thought was very well done.
Yeah, he kept calling Scooter Scooper. Like he hasn't worked with Scooter in so long. Yeah. He's calling Scooper. Overall, I look forward to seeing more of it. I was mentioning the comparisons to the movies, the genre films, even the latest series that they had done, the Office Cam style show. They've tried to keep themselves relevant by homaging to those types of things. Oftentimes, I would say, in 80s on, not super successful. Like maybe overdoing it a little bit, and not really understanding or capturing what made them so magical in the first place. And I say magical like I'm 3 years old. Because I like the Office one seemed like that didn't seem Muppet-y, right? It didn't fully seem like a Muppets type of thing. It felt like you know what? Let's stay relevant. Let's pick something out of pop culture. Here's what it reminds me of. Now I'm going a little side rant. It's when parody movies from the mid '90s to the late 2000s, they started decent, like with the original Scary Movie, and then they just kept getting worse and worse till they were parodies of themselves.
Yeah.
But not just any parodies. There's like, well, let's pull whatever pop culture reference we can find and put it on our movie because that's what makes things funny. That's what people want to see.
Yeah, it's
And
the Family Guy model. Shots fired. Shots fired. Sorry.
I don't want. There's still some craft that goes into Family Guy because they still have to draw it and they still have to animate the gags. I will give Family Guy a little bit of credit, but when I'm trying to think of any of the like the mid 2000 movies. No, I'm not even talking about like Not Another Teen Movie. Like I like that one. But there's just like a couple like with Carmen Electra where it was the like the the 300 spoof, like just absurd.
Yeah.
Now, not saying the Muppets were that bad, but I felt like they were doing that type of thing. When the Muppets came out in 2011, and we all cried at when the Muppet Show theme started for the first time again, and then the Rainbow Connection. Right, we're like, oh, this is the magic. It's back.
Okay, while you're bringing that up, I have to say that movie, the Muppets movie, to me, encapsulates so much of what is really terrific about the Muppets. Like the person that wrote that movie really got it because they spent the time honoring the show, the Muppet Show, and really half of the show is essentially the Muppet Show. Half the movie is with the telethon, the Muppet Show. But then the other half of the movie pays credit to their movies and the original Muppet movie and where they're out in the wild, they're getting into, hijinks out with other people. They have a ton of celebrity guests and things like that. But it did a great job of honoring all of that. And then they kind of like took a step back with Muppets Most Wanted, where it was just like, all right, let's just get a bunch of comedians and a half-baked premise and throw the Muppets back out on the screen as quickly as possible to capitalize on the success of the Muppets.
But so I looked it up. Nick Stoller and Jason Segel co-wrote the movie, right? And Jason Segel from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, when that movie came out, everyone's like, look, he should do a Muppet movie. And then just a couple years later, he was doing.
All right, I'll do it.
Doing it.
I feel like the whole subplot in Forgetting Sarah Marshall with him and the Muppet, or like the puppet musical thing, I think that was like legit, like a thing that Jason Segel was into. I think that might have been like a little close to home for him.
So yes, absolutely, that movie encapsulated everything. And then when Muppets Most Wanted came out, which I still haven't seen, by the way, I haven't seen a majority of it.
I'm pretty sure we own it for some reason.
I seeing the previews for it, I was like, oh, I don't know if they're going in the right direction with it. And then the new series came out, and I was just kind of like, well, my excitement had waned. It was gone for the most part. This series, this whole taking it into the YouTube era, it is, to me, it's not just a cheap grab. It can be looked at that, but the Muppets have been doing digital shorts for some time now.
Yeah.
And those small bite-sized, those little bits.
Wrong show. Little bits.
Of Muppet content, I think they had been doing that well and putting it in a format that consolidates all of those little bits into an actual show. I think was a smart thing to do, because I think, going back to the Muppet Show, what I loved about the Muppet Show as a kid was that they were you didn't have to like the entire show. There could be a bit where you're like, I don't like that song. That was dumb. I can do without that. But then the very next clip is a pigs in space, or
I was gonna make a pigs in space reference. That was on the tip of tongue. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I think getting back to a variety format, sketch comedy really is what they're doing with this, and I feel like it gives them the freedom to experiment a little bit. I don't think they're gonna go completely off the rails and have like a Phenomena type, you know, video. Maybe if things really ramp up and there's success in that, they can do really short segments of just outright craziness. But for now, they have what looks like a core group of segments that are going to probably be repeated over the course of several episodes, but then they can mix that in with any number of other sketches and really replicate what they did in that original Muppet Show with a new coat of paint on it, so to speak. And even to the degree with Scooter on his webcam uploading the individual segments in episode 2, having Fozzie send him images of all these bad pitches for different segments and things like that. That is straight out of the original Muppet Show as well. When you go back to all those behind the scenes shots where they're showing what's going on backstage, they're showing what's going on in the dressing rooms, and there was a whole other through line through the show of here's what's going on with these characters when they're not performing on stage. You get a little bit of that too between these segments, and it kind of ties the whole thing together. So I don't know. I'm definitely the biggest fan of the show in my house right now. I mean, I've watched it with a few of the kids, and they laugh at certain segments, but from a nostalgia standpoint, I'm definitely enjoying it. And just from a comedic standpoint, I have genuinely laughed out loud at different jokes in these episodes because I don't know, some of the stuff they're doing is just really funny.
And can I just be a Fozzie apologist?
If anyone could, Brandon. If anyone
he is just like the thing, those jokes, and I can't think of any off the top of my head that he puts out there. Legitimately make me laugh because they're so bad, but they're so good that I'm like,
yeah, and it was mostly like
fun.
all puns of different show ideas and stuff. But like, didn't he have one about like being like a TV in a TV courtroom for like meats or something, and he was like the meat eater or something stupid like that. Like, and each one had like a Photoshop like picture of Fozzie doing something. Yeah, that was great stuff. One other bit that we haven't talked about that I really loved was from the Muppet Masters segment with Walter, where we find out that Kermit is an expert photobomber, and
right.
the sequence of him photobombing Sam the Eagle is just I absolutely loved it. I was rolling during that. So really really solid stuff. If you guys haven't watched it and you have Disney Plus, definitely check it out. As Brandon said, out every Friday. I hope they do many episodes of this. I don't know exactly how many they have on order, but hopefully, it looks like six
Okay.
right now.
All right. Well,
So-
I do, and I know you do as well. Recommend giving it a shot if you have Disney Plus. I don't necessarily recommend if you don't have Disney Plus picking it up just for the show. I would
pick up
recommend
Disney Plus for this and Hamilton.
and The
Do
Simpsons.
both. And The Simpsons.
Don't
And
no one
every
get it
Star
for
Wars movie and every Disney movie. And you know what? Just
mainly
get
The Simpsons.
Disney Plus. Come on, guys.
Mainly The
But
Simpsons.
and mostly The Simpsons and everything else on the platform.
I do want to ask you a question real quick, Travis. I know we've talked about this before whenever we talked about Muppets, but after the second episode, Chelsea asked my son, "Who do you think your dad is most like? Which Muppet do you think your dad is most like?" Do you think he's like Scooter? Do you think he's like Kermit? Do you think he's like Fozzie? Do you think he's like Gonzo? And my family decided that I'm a weird mix of Scooter, Kermit, and Fozzie. More
What a
more
cop
Scooter,
out. Pick one.
more Scooter. Uh, I'm more Scooter than any of them. So
All right. Well, then you sent me a message and said, "Hey, ask your family which Muppet character they think you are."
yeah, I did do that. Did you get around to doing that?
I did it immediately. I think one or two of my kids were in the room, as well as my wife, and their consensus was Kermit. Now, in a speech at my wedding, uh, best man compared me to Kermit. So I don't know if this has been a thought for a long time. And I also don't know how to feel about that because Kermit is the face of the Muppets, right? And I feel like it's such an easy answer to be like, yeah, he's Kermit. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't play the banjo. I find it pretty easy being green. And but no, I do have a genuineness to me. I feel like that.
Well, who do you think you are most like then?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably
Of those three, Scooter, Kermit, or Fozzie, who do you? We'll make it simple.
I'm probably realistically closer to a Scooter than a Kermit. But I wing Kermit. Like I wing more Kermit than Fozzie for sure.
Yeah, this is one of those personality tests.
Yeah.
Oh, we did
The Enneagram as Muppet characters.
But it's one of the, it's
That's
one
a
of the
social media post waiting to happen. By the way, Instagram, that one's free. You guys can eat that up.
Mark it down. Yes, I'm probably a Scooter leaning Fozzie with Kermit in the back. It like Scooter when I'm not in a public way.
Yeah,
But-
like at home working on things and making sure that 5 minutes to curtain, Mr. Martin.
Travis, we need to write show notes.
What are we going to talk about today, Kermit?
I'm updating our Patreon.
And I'm just
by
like
the way,
back here on my banjo, like bing, 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 bing. See, I don't play banjo. I don't. You have a banjo. I don't.
I hooked up Twitter to our restream. 5 minutes the showdown or showtime.
Yeah.
Showtime. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably a little bit like Walter, really. If I could go non-classic Muppets.
That wasn't one of the options, but I'll
definitely not one.
I'll give it. I'm more Pepe, if anything.
You're more Pepe, yeah. I was like, I have like a what is it, Benson Honeydew, or Bunsen Honeydew. I have that look to me. If I just had the glasses, I feel like it'd be spot on.
Beaker 2.0. When it was, I'm in the cloud.
Go watch this show. Go watch this show, everybody. And let us know. Let us know what you guys think. If you're listening to the show for a long time, what Muppets do we most remind you of? What do you guys think about the show if you've watched it? And yeah, let us know. Moving on to a completely different sort of thing. We're going to talk about a horror film that Brandon watched and I have never heard of. This movie is called Host, and I think it's available on Shudder. Is it not?
Yeah. Just keep talking. Keep introducing it. From what you know of it.
So this is a movie directed by Rob
Just kidding.
Savage.
I'll talk about it.
Oh,
I was just changing my background.
Oh, jeez. I got real nervous there for a second, guys.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, you haven't seen it, but we thankfully we spent a whole shitload of time talking about the Muppets, so we don't have to talk too long about Host here. But Host is a movie that came out on Shudder, the horror streaming service, last week or the week before, and what makes this movie unique it all takes place on a Zoom call, and it's it's called Host. A horror Zoom movie is just the subtitle that I put on there just for descriptions purposes. But it was directed by Rob Savage. It was written by Gemma Hurley and Rob Savage. It stars some newcomers: Haley Bishop, Gemma Moore, Emma Louise Webb, Regina Drundova, and Carolyn Ward. Their characters in the movie are their first names, which actually really helps for sake of characters. They're behind me if you're watching a live stream. But what I'd heard about this movie, they were like, "Oh, it's so scary. This is a perfect movie for this day and age, this COVID day and age." And what is really unique about it was made during the coronavirus. It was made while they were in quarantine, and so putting this all together in however many months and releasing it on Shudder right away. A very good movie. It was at least at 100% Rotten on Rotten Tomatoes for a while. And the plot of the movie basically runs down like this. 6 or so friends are on a Zoom call and they want to do a Zoom seance. And during the Zoom seance, because of technical issues or whatever, things go awry and they let something through. And it is super. I thought it was super effective. Chelsea liked it, but then the closer it got to the end of it, she was kind of like meh. But like, I'm about to do a presentation for Podfest. This isn't a
Don't forget to check out Podfest. Blah blah blah.
But I'm doing that over Zoom, and I'm going to be talking to people over Zoom. And I'm not getting feedback from people. I can't tell the tone. I don't know if they're I don't want to know if they're enjoying it or not enjoying it, right? There's no energy feedback loop that you get from like a traditional performance. And to do a horror film like that to me is incredibly impressive. Yeah,
Did you feel that and I don't know how they executed the presentation of this in terms of like, did it look like a static Zoom call the whole time? Like you just been watching a recording of a Zoom call, or did they play with it a little bit where they maybe zoomed in like to certain windows to draw focus or do things like that? Because that movie Searching that came out, where the entire film took place basically on a computer. They used a few tricks, right? They used a few things to try and make sure the whole thing took place on a computer or took place on screens, but not like there were times where it's almost like, all right, they're manipulating this a little bit to where you wouldn't necessarily do something a certain way, but they have to get certain plot points across. The fact that this was filmed during the pandemic and probably over Zoom, did it feel like just a straight Zoom call the whole time you were watching it?
Yeah, it did. Some folks on Twitter, they recommended, not watching it on your TV. They recommended watching it on your laptop or watching it on your phone through the Shudder app with the lights out, because it seems very, it has a Zoom interface. They a couple's early on, one of the characters is messing with the virtual background, right?
Yeah.
And
no, I know.
Messing with a virtual background, messing with filters and stuff like that. So then they, like, one girl, she has her virtual background, and she walks into the room, walks over to her dresser, opens something up in the dresser, and then walks out, and then she pops up into the camera. She's like, "Hey, here I am." Like, it's a virtual background. It was just the video, right? Which comes into play a little bit later. Filters with like the one of the characters is doing like the Instagram filters where it, put something silly on her face, right?
Yeah.
That comes into play a little bit later. They establish all these things that are in Zoom and all in this type of environment, and then they use those to get scares, get some tension out of the viewer. It again, really really well made, and it seems again just like a Zoom call. It's only an hour long, which I want to talk about that here in a minute. Real quick, uh, it goes back to the economy of writing. Like, you know what? Let's not fill our movies up with too much stuff where it's not adding anything anymore.
Yeah.
Just tell a story from start to finish. Cut out all the fat. Get rid of that fat. Lop it off. Take a little cleaver. Slice it off.
It is Shudder after all. Just cleave it right off.
Oh yeah. Get in, get there, get in, get out, be effective, and be a good movie, and that's what this does. And I honestly, I would like the hour and a half, the 120 minutes, the 240, no, not 240, 2 hours, 2.5 hour movies. How that ended up becoming the standard for movie watching, I wonder sometimes. More now.
I think there's a little bit of a trade-off with certain movies where they're really big stories and they're trying to tell, like, whether it's like Lord of the Rings or like the Avengers Endgame, and all, like, where they're trying to pack so much stuff and these huge fight sequences and all this stuff, to where, like, they probably left stuff on the cutting room floor in some of those movies because they had so many ideas or whatever. And those are like landmark movies that are really the culmination of years of build-up and stuff like that. I can see those movies, why those are really long. But also for the moviegoer, average movie tickets, pre-COVID, back when we used to go to the movies, sometimes take your family out for the movies, anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on, what you're going to see, where you're going to see it, how many people you have. So I can see how you want to get as much benefit for what you're spending. And if you're going to sit down in an hour-long movie, it might be harder to justify some of those prices. So I'm not saying that one's influencing the other necessarily, but there's probably something to that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's part of that. I think that has maintained the status quo, so to speak, as ticket prices keep skyrocketing and people still want to see movies. Well, then now I need to make sure I'm getting my money's worth.
Yeah.
But how it ever became that, how that ever became the kind of hour and a half standard minimum for film going experiences is interesting to me.
Shoot, what was it? The Irishman?
Well, yeah.
Like 3 hours long or something.
Then you go the opposite, right? Endgame, however long Endgame was, a fairly long movie as well. But I would like to see more movies, and it'd probably be direct to video, direct to stream, be shorter stories. Again, economy of my time. Tell me a good story, show me a good story, and then I'll talk about it a little bit later. By the way, Shudder is I know you're not a horror guy, but for the folks who are out there, it's just there's just a lot of good stuff on that channel, and it's $5 a month, and those fuckers, I mean, they're not giving me any money to say this. They should, but I will.
Shudder, let's talk. What's up?
but I will advertise the hell out of them because there's just so much good stuff. And I talked to you about making Chelsea watch Sleepaway Camp with me the other day for my birthday.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like a really interesting concept, and I think that the idea of playing it on like a laptop or something would really draw you into the movie to the point where it feels like immersive, right? Like it feels less like something you're watching and more like something you're experiencing firsthand. So that concept is really unique, and I think that's really cool that they did that.
You mentioned searching, just to bring that point up real fast. You told me about searching originally, and then I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. And you mentioned these little bits about. I didn't want to say little bits.
Little bits.
You mentioned some of the kind of heavy-handed, shoehorned ways that they can continue telling the story. But searching is that very, very unique piece of film where you could tell the story in a very new and unique way that's kind of like a first person telling of this story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this host is very much along those lines, but without as many of the shoehorned bits.
Well, and I have
like it's a verisimilitude, high degrees of verisimilitude in this movie.
That was on his word of the day calendar. I have a special place in my heart for movies that try to tell a story in a unique or different way. Going all the way back to like Blair Witch Project, when found footage type stuff was not the norm. It was sort of this new concept. Searching is a great example of that. This movie Host is a great example of it, where they're using technology, they're using things that people are interacting with on a regular basis, and using these new forms of content to tell the story, which again, like, nod back to Muppets Now, they're even trying to do that a little bit with, like, hey, this is like web video now. Like, instead of a big stage production, these are going to be YouTube videos that you could they could just release those sketches out onto a streaming platform and call it good, but instead they're making a TV show behind a paywall. But yeah, no, I really dig the idea, and sounds like it was done very effectively.
Yeah, this is I don't. When Paranormal Activity came out, a lot of people liked that movie. Now people kind of retroactively like, that's not that great a movie. Oh, whatever. Oh, whatever. It's just cheap effects. But if you accept the atmosphere, if you just let yourself just like, okay, I know it's fake. Obviously, I know it's fake. Let me just watch the story in a darkened room by myself on mid shift. By the way, I'd seen Paranormal Activity in the theater, and I wasn't scared the first time I saw it, mostly because I think there were a couple teenagers making out to the left of us, and Chelsea was like, they're pissing me off. They're pissing me off.
Quiet down. You grab your drink and like, get a room.
Get a room. Oh, it's a demon. It's a demon. Oh, it's a demon. I was on a mid shift. Just me and this other guy were watching. We were monitoring a server room, right? And we could watch Netflix. And Paranormal Activity had just come out on Netflix. And he was like, I'd never seen this before. Is it all right? I'm like, yeah, it could be pretty scary. And we watched it together, just him and I. Just dark
locked
room.
in a warm embrace.
And it was then time to do guard checks and walk around the server room just to make sure everything was fine and dandy. But the server room is just no lights on, right? You're walking through there with a flashlight, and if you've ever been in a server room, you just hear that really kind of high whoo of the fan just blowing air throughout the thing. Let me tell you, it was kind of creepy. Like the hairs on the back of my, and it was the witching hour, he called it. He's like, yeah, I don't go down there during the witching hour. And but
he set you up for failure.
He did. I was like, no, man, it's your turn. Don't set me down there. Not the witching hour, bro.
Maybe watch this scary movie with you.
Anyway, I highly recommend Host. Travis, you're not going to get Shudder. You probably won't see Host for some time. But I do recommend you giving it a shot eventually, because I think you would like just the craft behind it.
I could see that being true. I could see that being true, Brendan. I can't see my wife watching it with me, but I could see that being true.
Yeah. Especially all virtually schooling our kids.
Yeah, we're ready for that. Not. All right. Speaking of things we're not ready for, you want to talk a little bit about some things that are going on over at patreon.com/rickandmortypod, the Apathetic Enthusiasm Patreon. We are doing promotion type things. Brandon has been hard at work doing his little, scooter thing, and tell us a little bit about what you got going on over there.
Oh, doing my scooter thing. I didn't really want to spoil it yet, but we're doing a couple things. Like we already talked about the revamp of the Patreon to make it sustainable for us and make sure that we're giving you, we are giving you value for your support for us. We do this podcast, we do Interdimensional RSS, we do S4YA, and you support us for that, but we also want to make sure we're supporting you in other ways because you're still giving us money, right? It's circular. It's circular support, as I was telling Rachel earlier, as she told me to fuck off. And so one of the things we're doing, we started
just one. Yeah, I know you don't want to spoil everything, so I'll just even if you just want to hint at stuff, I don't want to coerce you into spoilers.
Okay. All right. Okay. We are giving everybody $10 million. It's just a hint of things to come.
Apathetic Enthusiasm cannot be responsible for the comments of Brandon. Brandon is not. I don't know. Brandon is lying. We are not giving everybody $10 million.
Okay. Anyway, so we're the one thing we want to do is we're doing this promotion, right? Where any new folks, any upgrading folks, and even longtime folks, we're going to give you a little token of appreciation. But also this week we're going to premiere something a little extra for our ultimate app enthusiasts, which is a third tier. Not going to get too into that, but it is an exclusive little series, and I want to trademark this Little Bits series type thing. It's a Little Bits podcast. Why don't we just change Apathetic Enthusiasm to the Little Bits Podcast Network?
It's because we have too many things to change if we do that. We can't do that, Brandon.
Yeah, that's true.
I will tell you guys, Brandon sent me a demo of the new series that he has planned for Patreon only, and I immediately fell in love with it and told him I need to be on this more. So you can't do this all by yourself. It's gonna be great, and if you want more information about it, we will be talking about it in a future episode once it premieres. But you can get more information over at patreon.com/rickandmortypod. All right. Patreon. We love you guys. We are going to close out this episode with questions from chat. If you want to ask us questions on the show, make sure you head over to Twitch or YouTube or apparently Periscope now, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday nights. And we got a couple of early questions from our man D Squeeze. First one, Brandon, what is your favorite pizza topping?
Ooh, this is an easy one. It is pepperoni. Oh, is it one topping? Oh, pizza toppings.
Pizza. I'm gonna say pizza toppings. What is your favorite pizza?
Pepperoni, olive, mushroom. Those three will get me through any cold winter.
Brandon gets his own pizza on Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
No, hard pass for me. Typically used to be a straight meats guy. Just give me a meat lovers, call it good. Been ordering a lot of pepperoni and jalapeno lately.
Okay. All right.
Because I like to bring in the spice. But I will tell you, our family ordered pizza this last week, and I ordered like a barbecue chicken pizza, and with barbecue sauce instead of like the tomato sauce, and then chicken and onions on it. It was so good. It was ridiculous. It was one of those things where like when I was ordering it, because my youngest kid really loves that, and I was like, I almost didn't even order it. I was like, I don't really feel like that. I don't feel like having that. I'm gonna order my pepperoni and jalapeno. Order another one for the kids. All right, fine. I'll order the the custom barbecue chicken, and that was the pizza of the night. That's the one that I went back to. I don't know, hit the spot. So it's not always the one I'm gonna say, but as of today, like Domino's specifically, Domino's cheap garbage pizza,
not a fan.
Barbecue chicken.
Not a fan of barbecue sauce on my pizza. I will say though, California Pizza Kitchen had this pork carnitas pizza with this habanero salsa.
Ooh.
I
I haven't had CPK in a hot minute. Oh, that's
go-to.
That's good stuff. One other. I have Justin's heart with that pizza, by the way. So point for me. We got a little bit of vomit in the chat for Brandon's toppings. Another question from D Squeeze: if you could pick any career or just anything that you could do to make money, what would you do?
If I could pick any career,
yeah, instead of what you're doing now, unless it is what you're doing now, what would you pick as your dream job to bring in the bacon?
Damn, that's a good question. I don't rightfully know. I'm teleworking right now. I teleworked last week. I'm teleworking this week, and I've spent an inordinate amount of time doing lots of podcast prep, Patreon prep, and being overall kind of creative and productive, in addition to doing work stuff from a distance. And I don't know. Probably something like this. I was talking to somebody else about helping set up podcasts for websites and like being a consultant doing that type of stuff. Like I think I would like to do that if I could get organized and I could be focused and I can actually get into that kind of stuff. I think that'd be fun. I don't know if I could be a public speaker professionally, like a paid speaker. There's lots of prep to do for that, and I don't like feeling fake. So for those who those apathusiasts that pay $10 to see my practice speech for Podfest this week, you can tell when I'm being scripted and when the fake parts of me are there, where I'm like, this sounds clinical. That's what I keep saying. Like this sounds scripted. This sounds clinical. And that to me doesn't feel genuine. I don't know. What about you? That was a long-winded answer to say. I don't know.
No, it's interesting. I feel like those old sayings, like if you find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, or whatever, things like that. We do this podcast for little to no money. We hardly break even overall on what we put into it, but it is something that we love doing, and that's why we continue to do it. But I think it's opened my eyes to things that I really do enjoy. And I watch other like behind the scenes type shows. I recently watched the making of Frozen 2 on Disney Plus. We were watching that mostly because I was really fascinated by all of the people involved in the animation process of making a film like that actually happen. And the idea of being like some sort of producer or someone that gets to work with a lot of people and sort of like organize and keep things going and keep things on track to like to enable some sort of creative process. I think that would be really rewarding, and also stressful at times, but in a good way. And but that's sort of something that we end up doing a lot, between the two of us behind the scenes when we're not actually making an episode. There's a lot of, well, all right, what are we going to talk about in this episode? All right, we gotta get the information together. Oh, fine. If it's interdimensional RSS, we got to come up with the news stories that we're going to talk about. Let's write an outline. Let's do all this stuff. So there's a lot of things that go into it. And I don't know. I think that'd be interesting. Or just work in software and earn lots of money.
Well, this woman that I'm talking to about helping out with the websites and the podcast stuff, she's like, well, how much would you say like a one-time cost would be for you to help set this up for a client?
$10 million.
Well, I said a number, and mind you, I'd never actually talked to this woman. She's friends with my friend Carrie from Blazing Caribou Studios, the now defunct Blazing Caribou Studios. But the first time I ever talked to this woman, and I gave her a number, and she's like, "Oh no, that's too low. No, that's too low. You're worth more than that, honey. You're like,
honey,
huh?
condescending,
okay.
honey."
Well, yeah, she's like, go with this number. I'm like, okay, I'll go with that number. I'm like, I don't sell myself very often. She's like, no, it's fine. Here's the thing. She's like, and then she went to talk about her mentor, and her mentor had told her that, how do your marketing experience from scale from 1 to 100, where do you put yourself at? And she's like, like 50 to 60. And he told her, okay, the people that you are consulting, the people that you're talking to and providing this advice to, they're probably at like a 5 to 10. So they're paying for that gap because to them you seem like an 80 to 90.
Yeah.
That's where the value is. And so I'm like, okay, well then we'll go with your number.
$1 million. No, awesome. Thank you, D Squeeze, for those questions. Really appreciate it. He says we have good answers, so yay. We like answering your guys' questions. If you guys have more questions, definitely hit us up at apatheticenthusiasm.com. You can send us an email, apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com, and we'll answer more questions in future episodes. Please.
Oh, I do just want to answer Sire Cenobite's question real fast. He asked, stories from the first, last, only time you smoked pot. Here, I know your answer is never.
That never happened. Here will be my answer.
Okay.
It's every time my dad came out of his bedroom after hanging out back there with his friends, and I was like, "What's that weird smell?" Oh, that's right. That's my pot experience. Love you, Dad. R.I.P.
My experience is this. I didn't do it, but one time while I was in high school,
you did not inhale.
I did not inhale. When I was in high school, I was went to lunch with my friend Stephanie, and went to I wasn't supposed to leave the campus, but we did, and we went over to one of her friends' house, and she they started smoking their thing, but they're like, I was like, no, that's okay. Like, well, you want a cigarette? I was like, oh, that's fine. That's legal for somebody at the time.
It's legal for somebody.
And so I took the cigarette, and I was like, clearly not inhaling, just sucking it into my mouth and then blowing it out. Yeah. Oh, this is good. This is good stuff. And then they proceeded to make fun of me for a good couple of years.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I'm sure they would still make fun of you if you brought it up today.
Yeah, probably. But there you go. That's my story of Brandon trying to be cool but failing.
Fail. and it's continued throughout the rest of our lives, trying to be cool but failing miserably. All right, that is our show for tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you have more questions in the stream, we'll hit them in our post show hangout. If you want to hear what we talk about in the post show hangouts, make sure that you are here on Monday nights for the live stream. And if you are downloading this episode for the first time, if you are an audio-only listener, thank you. Thank you for checking out the show. If you are on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you might be, if you can rate, review, thumbs up, whatever your podcatcher allows you to do, we would very much appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon, and thank you for listening.
See you later. More questions. What does this say?
Oh my God, you guys are so hot. Who is this Brandon Cruz fella?
Jeez.
On Twitter?
I actually am really hot. I'm gonna turn my fan on real quick. Boiled carrots or peas, Brandon?
Boiled carrots or peas? Boiled carrots, yeah, definitely. Because you can. Peas are all right, but I've never been a fan of how difficult it is to eat peas. Right? Like they're rolling all over the place. Like. I have to use a spoon.
Rolling all over the place.
Hey, use a
Our
fork.
pets' heads are falling off.
But boiled carrots, easy to eat. Plus, you add some sugar to them, and you make some sweet carrots, and maybe drain it, and then put them in a skillet, and then you caramelize that sugar, and then you have like caramelized sugar carrots. You know what I'm saying?
No, I've never had that before.
Really? You've never had sweet caramelized sugar carrots?
No, I haven't. I've had candied yams on Thanksgiving. But
It's very similar. It's very similar. Okay, well,
I don't eat peas, so carrots. That's the answer.
That's weak.
Describe your favorite movie as clickbait YouTube title. Deranged candy maker nearly kills 5 children.
Oh shoot. What is well, this is difficult. I have to figure out what my favorite movie is.
If you know what movie is, drop it in the chat, guys.
Capitalism. Find out more? No.
Would you like to know more?
I guess that would apply for There Will Be Blood. But
Baby in a Basket. Click to see the exclusive photos. He drank whose milkshake?
I guess that's why I'll never be a good clickbait article writer.
I feel like I maybe might have a second career in the works.
Project Mayhem. What is Project Mayhem?
Absolutely Willy Wonka. Thank you, Justin.
A Vietnam vet has run in with local police. You won't believe what happens next. That is Rambo, First Blood. That's easy. It's easy. Why don't you try stumping me with a diffy one?
Give me something tough.
Give me something diffy.
Diffy. Makes me think of Duffman. Oh yeah.
Duffman. Oh yeah.
Willy Wonka, the Amazing Chocolatier. Yeah, and none of this Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. None of this Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I need old school. I almost said Gene Simmons, Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Yeah,
Everything wrong with Knives Out in 17 minutes or less. Is that your clickbait, or is that, or are you asking us to do that for 17 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I got in a fight with my imaginary friend again. Daily blog number 44. Better take on yours, Brandon. Nah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, no. I mean that's not a clickbait article headline. I don't think that's very clickbaity.
Wait,
I don't
was
know.
yours Fight Club?
Yeah, mine was Fight Club. Yeah, Project Mayhem.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I haven't watched Fight Club in a really long time, but that is a terrific movie.
How about this one? His name was Robert. What? Click for more. Click to find out.
There you go. Slide. Remember? Did you bought Fight Club 2, right?
I started collecting, but I never read it, and then I missed a couple issues. That's why I never read it, because I missed a couple issues, and then I just never got around.
Did I buy it as a comic or as a trade? I feel like I bought it as a trade.
What did you read it?
Yeah.
How was it?
It's good.
Did we talk about this? Maybe we talked about this already.
Where's my book?
Oh boy. Oh, Travis looking for books. This is the type of hard-hitting journalism you expect from the New York Times.
Here it is. Fight Club 2, ladies and gentlemen, in hardcover. Yeah, Dark Horse Comics.
Right. Are you
it's
planning
good.
on reading it right now?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I will now read to you Fight Club 2, The Tranquility Gambit. Story by Chuck, I can never say his last name.
Polonia?
Yeah. Did I read this whole thing? Feel like I did.
I don't know if you did. The way this German doctor brings these three people closer together may shock you. Do you know what movie that is?
The way this German doctor brings these three people closer together may shock you.
I know what it is.
Is this Human Centipede?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Travis's knack for understanding pop culture references without actually seeing the source material. The story of a man.
Feed her. Yes. Polonic.
Like a colonic.
Oh, hey, Justin, Rachel, are you friends with Chuck Palahniuk? Oh, by the way, Fight Club, the actual novel, was for a long time. Well, I don't know, for a long time. For a brief period, it was my favorite novel. It was my favorite movie as a kid too, because I didn't understand subtlety or subtext, and I didn't realize that it was against a lot of the things that I was taking from it, which is a big part about media, right? Like people taking the wrong things, the wrong messages from a piece of media, and be like, yeah, I should kill a primetime talk show host on live television. You know, Joker.
No, I got it.
You know.
Oh, weird. Hopefully the stream's still going well for everybody.
Yeah, it's going well. It's going well.
Good.
I'm still on it. Okay. Trivia game from Rachel and Justin. What did their son do this week that cost $8,000?
Got braces.
Oh
no! Is that just my kids? Is that what? Cost $8,000.
I feel like car thing. I feel like it's like a car wreck.
See, that's the thing is I'm like, how old is said son?
That's true. That's true.
Because if it's like a teenage son, immediately I go to car wreck. If it's like really young, I'm gonna say like damaged home electronics. So like, poured a refreshing summer beverage into the exhaust fan of your PC builds. I don't know, like.
Oh, man, that's an expensive ass computer, man. 8,000. Okay, we're saying broken limb, stitches, braces,
Leg braces,
leg
combining both.
Forest.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, car wreck. Yeah, it had to been. Oh, also not licensed.
Ooh.
What kind of car is it? That's my
Here's the real zinger is if it was a car wreck and their son is like 8, because then it'd be then see what happens when this 8-year-old wrecks a car.
If he's
Clickbait.
15. If
Also,
he's 15,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Apologies.
I hopefully he's okay.
Thank you for your support on Patreon. If you if he's like 15 and a half and he has his learner's permit and then he got into a car accident, well, see you at 18, driver. That's I mean, see you at 18 also with like a chain and ball wrapped around his ankle because he's not going anywhere for $8,000 for some time.
Man, that's so many
Bad.
monies.
So many monies. What the other kicker? Oh, Mitsubishi GT versus a Ford F-150. Wait a minute, my brother-in-law just got into a car wreck with his F-150. Did your son crash into my brother-in-law? Just kidding.
Which would
different-
be amazing.
It would
if
be.
that was the case. The
Yeah.
smallest of worlds.
Yeah. He sent me my brother-in-law sent me a picture of the damage, and he was like, "This is what it did," and it was the tire, and it was nothing. Like nothing bad happened to it. Evidently, the woman's car. By the way, your son's not a woman. It was a woman that crashed into my brother-in-law.
But you'll be a woman soon.
Her car is totaled. Because that's what happens when you are a car against a truck. Man versus car.
When did the car always win? I have a question for the good folks over in stream.
Okay.
If you would be so kind. I am currently in the midst of planning a D&D campaign.
Okay.
Single session.
Sure.
I will be DMing. My wife and 3 children will be those playing. Only my oldest child is fully committed to this endeavor. What should I do to augment this game to make it enjoyable for everyone and possibly something that they would want to return to? And you're like, nothing. Nothing. You can't.
You're asking the stream, right? You don't want.
I would like your opinion as well, Brandon.
Okay, here's my opinion. Knowing you, knowing your family, I've known your family for some years.
Many a year.
Your oldest daughter is the only one who is going to maintain an interest for D&D past the time you play it.
Yeah, you might be right.
That you're what is your son playing? What game is your son playing that he's moved on to?
Currently playing Pokemon Sword or Shield, whichever one I own.
Yeah. And your daughter is talking to my son on Messenger. Right now.
Are they really right?
No, that'd be I'd be mad. I'd be like, "What are you doing, Kermit?"
So here's a little food for thought. A lot of family dinners, a lot of conversation at dinner where there'll be a little bit of like, hey, let's make up a story, and it goes around the table and everybody like adds something to the story, right? Like, those like improv games or whatever where you're like, oh, there was a bear and it went to and then the next person says, brothel, and then like it just it goes around the table. And so I feel like collaborative storytelling is not completely out of sorts. I'm definitely not forcing my 8 and 10-year-old to read the entire player's handbook before we start playing, which it's just not going to happen. Nor is my wife going to do that. So there's going to be a lot of like guiding them through it and telling them like, hey, sort of coaching them through the game as well. Definitely not going to overly complicate things like combat. I'm going to keep it pretty simple, but still keep it as close to the rules as possible.
You're taking them through the Lost Mines of Phandalin.
Yep. The starter set.
That takes more than one session normally. Have you thought about seeing what other like one shots are out there, like 1 to 2 hour one shots instead, that are for beginners, but are also very like, this is it, like a beginning, middle, and end, all in this one section, rather than because I think maybe you hope that they would extend it and then they would keep going. They're interested and they want to keep going.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Have you thought about that?
Well, I have, and spoilers for anyone that is anticipating playing the Lost Mines of Phandalin or whatever. You start out on the road escorting a cart. There's an ambush from some goblins, and then you end up going to track down the goblin hideout to rescue the people, at least one of the people that you're supposed to be meeting in the town of Phandalin. Beyond that, you go and do a bunch of other stuff. I feel like rescuing Sildar in the goblin hideout is my one shot for this. Okay. And I feel like they could get that far in an afternoon, and that would be enough to where there's a story hook at the end of it, to where if they're interested, then they could continue on. And if they're like, yeah, this is dumb, Dad, I don't want to play anymore, then they rescued the guy. They have a beginning, middle, and end, and
they're done with it, and then they'll never fully understand you.
And then they'll play next year for my birthday, because this will just be a reoccurring thing I do every year. Because last year I tried to play with my family for my birthday, and one person got sick. Somebody else couldn't do it, and it just didn't happen. Plus, I was trying to use the what's it called, the Essentials kit, which is really wonky, and I didn't like it. So
the chat, a couple good comments out in the chat about Dungeons one, Durgans and Dragons. Sire Dark saying that he's out from that boring stuff. Play paper football. It's a better game. But then there's also some talk about incorporating Disney characters in. Oh God! Oh, I'm a goblin! Oh, I mean, no joke. I mean, that would probably get them interested, if anything, just to see how well you butcher popular.
That's like how whenever we do the Rick and Morty Dungeons and Dragons, how bad character impressions will be when we try to do that.
You and he were buddies.
If they're fed up by the end, absolutely slaughter their characters. It was funny. So I've been strategic. I have talked them all into picking a race and class for their characters. I'm going to build character sheets for them, so they don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to build pretty standard builds based on what they've told me. But my son, he's like, man, it's called Dungeons and Dragons. I hope we get to fight a dragon. And I was like, you're level 1, bro. You're a level 1 fighter. You ain't ready for no dragons.
Ready for no dragon. I mean, you can always there's a dragon in the Lost Mines of Phandalin.
Yeah, but it's like,
I mean, it's
a couple sessions in.
Yeah. Just start their session there, just talking to it. maybe like just asking about what it's up to, how it's enjoying
How
uh,
are you enjoying your new layer?
quarantine.
Which
Dragon
Dragon Quarantine? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I will definitely give a full recap on how the session goes on the next AE. Um,
Oh, dragging these balls. Justin
every
saying.
time, every time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how it goes. My 8-year-old, she may love it, she may hate it. I'm very curious how it's going to play out. But everybody is at least somewhat involved. I will do a rundown of their characters real quick. My youngest daughter is going to play a human bard. She didn't want to pick any cool different race. She's like, human. I just want to be a human. My 10-year-old son is a dragonborn fighter.
Can't fight a dragon. I'll just be a dragonborn.
My 12-year-old daughter is what is she? She is a half elf.
Bard? Was she a bard?
No, she is she's a druid. I just don't remember what race she picked. I have it on a piece of paper. Half elf druid. Totally nailed it. And she already named her character Lydia Solace. And then my wife is gonna be a halfling cleric, and I basically picked that for her. So so that'll be fun. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
See how the party interacts with one another. See how long I can even keep them at the table.
Sire asks if like deconstructing video games and putting it into a pen and paper form, if that's an actual thing. I'm sure it is. I mean they have pen and paper version of Star Wars, right?
Yeah. Which I'd be interested in playing, like even a one shot of that. As a group.
Yeah. It's there's so many different systems out there. I'm interested in trying something different eventually, but it's a learning curve for all those different systems too. I always, my naivete was like, oh well, you have Dungeons and Dragons, you can put any kind of world into using its system, and people are like, no, there's other systems that are better suited for like sci-fi things.
Yeah, you start putting like guns and technology and things. It gums it up.
Like Shadowrun. Shadowrun was the game when I was a kid and I was working at Safeway / Vaughn's, talking to my mentor Clifton Graves, and he was telling me all about Shadowrun, and I was like, oh, that sounds so cool because it's like techie and hacky, and there's orcs and stuff like that, but it's all part of, like, there's just corporations. It's a very Blade Runner-ish type of world, and that sounded super cool to me. But I think I've read that people who play Shadowrun are like, no, it's a complicated ass system. You don't.
Yeah, I get that. Interesting comment from D Squeeze here, talking about how he thought about making a Minecraft world where someone DMs. I will tell you, D Squeeze, that is what ruined Minecraft for me. I ran a Minecraft server for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was, and then moved to another state away from everybody. I had started a tradition, like when they added pumpkins into Minecraft, where every Halloween I would hide pumpkins in some of the cities that we had built, and I would put chests under the pumpkins with rare loot and things like that for some of the players on the server. And it was like my Halloween event that I would run on the server. Well, it was like the summer, and I was working with one of my buddies, and we decided to take that way off into the next level by building dungeons, hidden dungeons in Minecraft. And I was a server admin, so I could like drop into creative mode as needed, because we ran a vanilla survival server. And I ended up making a 4 dungeon adventure that had 3 introductory dungeons that they had to collect elements from. They had to collect story hooks within it that would eventually get them to the last dungeon where they'd have to fight a wither. This was back when the withers first came out. And I put so much time and effort into this, and like it was this exciting thing where I got to watch them play through the whole thing and try and work their way through these dungeons. And after it was over, life lost all meaning for me. I tried to go back and play Minecraft just as a Minecraft player, and it lost its sparkle. So now I'm currently back in Minecraft playing right now, and now is the first time in like 5 years where I felt like I'm having fun playing Minecraft. And this new Nether update, they've done a lot in the Nether to change it, and they've added a lot of other things in the game where it's kind of fun to explore and check out that stuff again. I would love to get some other folks on there. But
it's low stakes. It's low stakes and low pressure, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm playing with my kids too, so like I can build stuff, and there's creeper holes all over the place because they don't know how to run away from creepers, and I run behind them and fill it with dirt and stuff. But it's fun because I can play for me, but then I can play with them as well.
By the way, there's a lot of creeper holes in our little town because I'm like, I don't want to dig these holes. I'll just lead a creeper over here and just keep building it. That's why there's a really like deep crater over by my kid's house.
I wanna gear up a little bit and have you go and do some exploring with me at some point.
Yeah, if you gear up and then you give me some of that gear, I'll definitely do it.
Yeah. So did you know that there's something better than diamonds in Minecraft now? They just added a new material in the Nether.
What?
That is super rare, super hard to find, but it is stronger and more durable than diamonds. It's the first time since like alpha that they've added something, and it's a full tool set and armor set that is
stronger and more durable.
Yeah. This came out in the Nether update that just came out in the last few months.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, Ethereum is it?
I don't know. This is where I'm at in life. I watched a Minecraft video last night on YouTube. I used to watch Minecraft videos for hours back in the day, and now I don't. But I did watch a Minecraft video to figure out everything in the Nether update, because I'm just starting to explore the Nether now. Because I need to get some blazes. I need to get some blaze rods so I can start making potions. This is where I'm at. This is my life, and I'm in my late 30s. So
new Minecraft material. Let's look that up real fast. D Squeeze talk about playing with us. Not something that I read about earlier, because while building up the Patreon,
adamantium.
There are like Minecraft integrations with Patreon to kind of link worlds to the Patreon. I don't know if it's realms or whatever. I didn't look too deep into it, but I was like, oh, that's cool. It's netherite. That's what it's called.
Netherite. That's what it is. Yeah.
The thing about playing Minecraft though is it's the same way I am with Cities Skylines or Civilization or in building games in general, Minecraft, Terraria, where I get very addicted to them for like a day, 2 days, and I'm like, okay, I got to experience that magic again, and now I'm good. I'm good for a little bit.
Yeah, which is basically where I've been in every previous attempt to play Minecraft, right? Where I get in, I build some stuff, I make some things, and then I'm out. And it's been true of Minecraft for as long as I've been playing it, which is feels like a decade now. It's probably been a decade. But you've always sort of had to set your own goals in the game, and especially before they added things like the end and having an actual progression system.
Calendars, task management systems,
Yeah.
Slack integration.
Yeah, before there were Scrum boards in Minecraft, you had to make your own way in the world. So,
Agile Minecraftology.
but when we played on a collaborative server with a bunch of people from work, it people would go off and do their own thing and build their own towers and fortresses and things like that. Hey, Vestlord, thank you for rating.
Hey.
We are in our post-show hangout talking a little Minecraft, what once was and what will be. But thank you so much for hanging out, guys. And thank you, Vestlord, for rating us. Always a good friend.
Yeah.
Excited for the Pain in the Ass-a-thon coming up later this month.
Yeah.
Right?
And next Saturday. By the way, everybody. So next Saturday, for those who are still watching, next Saturday, 12 a.m. Eastern to 2 in the morning Eastern.
Ooh.
Travis and I will be playing a game to support the Colorectal Cancer Alliance to fight off colorectal cancer. So we're going to be playing a game. Right now we're slated for Overcooked 2. There's still room to change that, Travis, if you don't want to play that. But we're going to be trying to beat the game in the 2 hours that we have slotted. Travis, I don't know if you've played Overcooked 2.
I've definitely played Overcooked. I think I've played Overcooked 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We've never played this game together, and we will not play this game together until the night of.
This is going to be amazing.
We will be learning it as we go to see if our coordination skills, if our ability to work together pays off by getting as far into the game as we can.
It'll be like half an hour of us yelling at each other, and then an hour of us working really well as a team, and then 30 minutes of us stressing out and giving up because it's 2 a.m.
Depending on how pissed off or how much I drink. Maybe I won't drink. Maybe I'll drink less.
I'm gonna need you right in that sweet spot, where you can still perform. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun. We've got some work to make sure that we're ready for stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, it's what is this, 3rd, 4th annual, 5th?
Yeah.
It's been going on for years now.
Yeah, it's been going on a long time, and so we'll be on there 12 to 2. But everybody over at Geekade, our friends over at Geekade, they're going to be doing this all day, all night. And it's always a good show. They always have very classic games. Dean always plays Bubsy and gets pissed off at whatever Bubsy version he's playing. I played Slay the Spire last year, and I played Golden Axe, I think, the year before. We've done stuff before. It's fun. It gives us a chance to get out there, support a good cause, and you should check it out. Follow the Geekade over on Twitter. Or Vestlord. Vestlord, he's here.
Yeah, Vestlord's hanging out. Yeah. We've gone and bombarded his channel a time or two. A time or two. It'll be fun, and I appreciate, Brandon, you actually invited me to play with you this year. This will be fun.
Well, you know how like I feel bad. Hey, by the way, everyone, this is inside Brandon's sports ball. This is inside Brandon's sports ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sports Corner with Brandon. This is a bit that I stole from Harmontown. That's right. Stole this right away. Here you go. Brandon's Sports Corner.
Brandon's Sports Corner. Here it is. We've talked about this. We've talked about it on this podcast, these streams, where I talk a lot and I have so many things that I'm doing, none of them all fleshed out. Me committing myself to do one thing or the other, right? Being on guest, you're like, oh, you're a guest on another podcast. I didn't even realize that was going to be a thing. That type of stuff, right? And and you don't have you don't have that much time to
No,
spare time to
you
like
don't.
to waste.
I don't. We don't.
Yeah, I'm technically I probably don't either, but I still stress myself out by committing myself to everything.
Overextending himself. But this will be fun. This will be a lot of fun, and you've done this for years and years.
And so I make plans a lot of times without actually telling you about them, because I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to put this extra pressure on him to take him away from his family and his life to do all this extra curricular stuff." So that's like even the Patreon exclusive stuff series that we're going to premiere later on this week. I developed it behind the scenes, and talked
And then
to
you
Chelsea.
you sent me like a demo of it, and I'm like, this is amazing. How come you didn't even mention this to me?
Yeah. Well, part of that was I didn't want to. Here's how the dichotomy works. I think of something and I type it to you instantly, and then I'm typing it to you as I'm thinking about it, and so I'm fleshing out the idea to you live, and because I'm doing that, I'm not actually writing it down and thinking about it myself, and I'm like, yeah, let me do something a little bit different. Let me develop it. Let me think about it. Let me actually design this and what I'm putting on paper.
Cut
and
to
then
montage of him like storyboarding things, recording something like in the booth, talking, editing, and then finally sending it to me, and then cut back to me just like. Yeah, that's basically our creative process. And this has been Sports Corner with Brandon, bringing you all the insider tips and behind the scenes batting averages of sports and sports balls. Sports Corner with Brandon.
Thank you.
I need some music for that, Brandon. If you could have that ready next time.
Washington football team.
Hey, let's talk about a little bubble basketball going on in Orlando right now. The Suns are still undefeated in the bubble.
What the hell is bubble basketball?
What is bubble basketball, Brandon?
Keep saying that.
Bubble
I don't know what
basketball. The NBA is back, Brandon. We have 8. Count them, 8. These are the placement games that these are the standings games, right? So the end of the NBA season is 8 games played in what is affectionately known as the NBA bubble. The NBA likes to call it their campus, but this is portions of Walt Disney World that they have closed off to the general public. There are like 16 teams that are staying at the Walt Disney World Resort right now in the hotels. They have sections that are separated off for them, and then they have.
Wait, they're in Orlando?
They're in Orlando, staying at. They're staying there. And
I am near Orlando.
But you don't get to see them because they're in a bubble, right? Not a physical bubble, but any player that comes in has to be like they're testing everybody within the bubble on a regular basis. They have to quarantine a number of days. The benefit of this is that they haven't had any COVID cases in the bubble, and like basketball is a pretty contact sport. You're up in each other's faces, so there's not really a way to protect players if somebody does have it. But yeah, so they set up 3 different courts at the Wide World of Sports complex, and they are playing 8 games leading up to the playoffs. Then they'll do their playoff seedings. They will run the playoffs in the bubble, and then ultimately, I think this winter or something, or at the end, sometime this fall, they will have the NBA championship played in the bubble, and it's fascinating stuff because it's all. There's no fans, right? So they pipe in crowd noise. They have home teams that have Microsoft Teams setups, and people pay to watch the game on Microsoft Teams, and then they put their little like Zoom images up like in the stands as they're watching. All kinds of very interesting stuff. Bubble basketball. This is Travis's Sports Corner. Sports Corner with Travis, talking about basketball. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about bubble basketball. Also, the Suns are undefeated. They're not going to make the playoffs. They beat my Thunder today. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Not watch bubble basketball.
Yeah.
Well, Dean makes a good point. Why not just have a Mortal Kombat tournament? Why not
maybe that's what they're going to do afterwards. Maybe after the championship, then everybody's going to put their masks on and be like, "Get over here." And just that's all the teams that didn't make the playoffs will have a Mortal Kombat tournament while the other teams are playing in the playoffs.
Two things. One, there was a Bernie Lomax cutout in the Royals game.
Yes.
Background. That was solid.
People are starting to use their sideline camera views for the NBA games to also do stuff. Steven Adams, the center for the Thunder, was not playing in a game, but you know how fans will bring the big like giant faces, the face cutouts to like games? Like someone just had his giant face in front of their webcam. I saw Baby Yoda in the stands on Instagram today. So all kinds of fun stuff. Fans are keeping it interesting.
The second thing is I watched the Mortal Kombat movie from '96, and got to tell you, it was much better when I was a kid. But that music, it's
Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Anyways,
aren't they breaking quarantine though? Quick 669. No, they're all kind of quarantined together in the bubble. So yeah.
Scorpion in that movie, he says, "Get over here," but then he also says, "Get down from there." And then I think he says another variation of like, "Come from a direction from wherever you are." It's just so funny, like, "Bring the pepper down from her." just such benign statements. "Pass the salt over here." Just stupid stuff. Yeah. I mean, he's so polite. "Please,
please,
I watched.
Please, will you pass the pepper over here?"
Mashed potatoes. I watched Batman: Mask of the Phantasm on Netflix with the wife and kid. She fell asleep right away. The son and I finished the whole thing. Have you seen that animated film?
Mask of the Phantasm. I don't think I have seen that one.
It's from Batman the Animated Series. It was their first theatrical version of Batman the Animated Series, and it is such a good adult kind of movie.
What platform are we streaming this on?
It's on Netflix.
Add it to my list.
Yeah, you got to, man. That's classic. Brian Newton, the multi-time director from Rick and Morty. It's one of his favorite movies.
So you're saying it's better than The Killing Joke, which I paid money to see in theaters?
Oh my God, we paid money to see that in the theaters.
Not together though.
Good story. I wasn't a fan of where they took some of that stuff.
Yeah. The thing I'll never forget about that movie is I went to go see it in the theaters. I was the first person in the theater. I was alone in the theater. And then the next person to walk into the movie theater came in and sat down right next to me. Entire theater sat right next to me. We had our two little reclining seats next to each other. Eventually, more people showed up in the theater, but it was so awkward that we were the first two people to show up. Complete strangers sharing our love seat for The Killing Joke.
Quick 669 says, "Silver balls flying around?" Yes, I get your Phantasm reference. Oh yeah. By the way, great movie. Great movie. The sequel also great. They get more and more absurd up till Oblivion, but we'll regard that. Justin mentions watch Ip Man. I had never seen Ip Man. It's on Netflix, Travis. If you're interested, it is a story of.
I have my list going of
Okay.
things to watch on Netflix.
It is a story, the true life story of.
You guys are basically writing the next episode of AE right now.
Master Ip, who was a famous martial arts teacher who taught Bruce Lee. That's his ultimate claim to fame. I watched Ip Man 1, Ip Man 2, and at the end of both of the films, they're like, by the way, he taught Bruce Lee. Just so we're clear, he was the master who taught Bruce Lee, Wang Shui or whatever it is. Anyways, it is a good movie. Donnie Yen, who was in Rogue One, I'm one of the forces with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. It's subtitled though, and I know you don't like reading, Travis. So
I've never been good at it. I put
can't-
subtitle. I've one thing that you've influenced me on is watching most things with subtitles now.
yeah.
That it's a little bit because of you, and two because most of the time when we're watching stuff, the kids are going to bed, and we're trying to watch something in the living room, and my wife's like, "It's too loud. It's gonna wake up the kids," and I'm getting old, and I can't hear what they're saying, so I'm like, "Put on the subtitles. I can't hear what they're saying," and that's how I taught at home.
At home.
That's my
she's
actual voice. This is all just for the stage, but at home it's all, hey whippersnappers, can you get my readers? I'm gonna read me a comic book about Fight Club.
And Sheena says to you, I told you to turn down the TV. I want you to turn your voice down too.
Eh? What?
Oh, God.
What's that you said?
Yeah, Chelsea a long time ago was like, I want to watch everything with subtitles. When we first got married, over 16 years ago, we had just a very, very small, like maybe 24, 26 inch TV, just super small. It had a DVD in it. But like you turn the volume up to 1 and it was loud. But if you turn it down to 0, it's nothing at all. And it would be in our bedroom, so she wouldn't watch it, but I would be trying to sleep, so she would put it on subtitles. And so that continued. She'd be watching movies and put on subtitles. But also, she has glasses, but she doesn't wear glasses a lot, and so then she would also want to read the subtitles. And then her hearing started going bad. She's an invalid now.
Then she started losing her sense of smell and taste.
Yeah.
She got COVID, and then
and then she took over a very isolated research station in the Antarctic, starting with a couple of wolves, and she is what John Carpenter's The Thing is about.
Justin and Rachel signing off. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Appreciate you guys being part of the show as always. Subtitles. I need them now. It's not just a preference thing. I need them. I can't tell what sometimes the action sequence is loud, and then the dialogue is so quiet. I can't quite hear it. I can't quite hear what you're saying. You guys are getting a preview of Apathetic Enthusiasm's 2000th season, coming to you directly on Apple Headband in the year 2056.
2056. The year we made contact.
We're bringing you this episode from space. We live on the moon now.
Hey, I keep trying to grow these cilantros on the moon, and there's not quite enough oxygen.
Did you guys watch the next Muppet show? We still like the Muppets. It's still a thing we talk about.
We talked about this on episode 170, but the Muppets, they keep being kind of old. They try to take what's natural.
We're just the Statler and Waldorf now. Like we've aged to that point where we just make fun of everything and criticize it.
Justin, speaking of S4YA, a new episode's coming out pretty soon. From one I recorded back in like October of last year.
Which episode is that?
That is Dead Man's Shoes.
Dead Man's Shoes. I watched that episode after we recorded our episode because it was the next one on Netflix, and
Right.
I liked that episode. I thought it was interesting.
Dead Man's Shoes with my friends over from Between Science and Superstition, another Twilight Zone podcast.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Yeah, good episode. Good episode. I don't know if the podcast is worth a darn, but
Sounds great.
good, good.
They sound great.
They sound good. They
right.
make you sound good.
Well, yeah. I want to go back to being an old man.
You wanna do old man bits again?
That's right.
I feel bad. I feel like I really had a point about Minecraft, and then we got raided, and I completely dropped it. So if you were sticking around for those hot takes on Minecraft, sorry guys.
We're done.
It's over. But maybe I'll fire up the old Elgato capture card, and maybe we can tour some Minecraft together on a stream here in the near future. Yeah, everybody calm down.
Yes.
The fans love it. The fans love it. They can't wait.
The guy at the very end. Yes. So excited. There's also a new game. Maybe we should take some time this week, Travis, to play that game Grounded, and then we can talk about that next week.
Yes, we should do it on a stream.
Okay. All right.
We should do it. It's agreed.
There's a Microsoft Studios game called Grounded that is out there. If you have Game Pass, you can download it for free. We're gonna take a look at that this week, and then we'll come back next week on AE and we'll discuss it a little bit. The other folks been sending ideas in for shows. Our patrons, thank you for those. To clarify, Beautiful Katamari is the game I played on Xbox 360, not Katamari Damacy, which we will talk about, sire.
Yeah, the one where you roll up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played it. I don't, because I'm not a PlayStation guy. It's a PlayStation game. I've never owned a PlayStation console, so
Never
ever forever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I borrowed somebody's PS2 once so I could play a bunch of games, but never owned a PlayStation console.
Have you ever rented a game console?
Yes. Yeah. Back in the Blockbuster days.
Those
Yeah.
were the days, huh?
So I used to spend every other weekend at my aforementioned dad's house, and
Choking it up.
real talk, and occasionally, he'd like pick me up on Friday. We'd swing by Blockbuster, rent a console, and you could like rent it for the weekend.
Yep. Yeah.
And so like then we'd rent the console, play stuff, and then like return it, on Sunday. So yeah, that's I think the only time I can remember renting a game console.
Yeah, we rented. My brother would rent the PlayStation, and then we'd play X Games. There's X Games for the PlayStation, and you could. It was kind of like a Road Rash / Skitchin type, just behind the character perspective, and it's a racing game. And you could either rollerblade, skateboard, or BMX bike. And I don't remember if it was good or not, but I remember having a good time with it. Oh, the other game was Destruction Derby.
Destruction Derby. Do you remember? I'm not asking you because I don't think you remember, but explain to me the fondness of your memories with Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Did you like that game? Because I loved that game.
I did. I liked this. the second one is the one I remember more.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time almost getting in trouble in the dorms as I was playing that game. Because I was not supposed to be in the dorms as I was playing that game. And I was actually supposed to be in school at the time. And instead I was playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And then they were going to come do room inspections. And then yeah, I was looking for an exit strategy, and I was like, oh, maybe I can hide under my bed. No, that's dumb. And then I could hear the doors kind of opening and closing as they're getting closer to my room. And then so I turned everything off, and then I opened the door as I heard one door close, and I saw the people had just like walked into a room, and so I took that opportunity to just fucking book it as fast as I could down the hallway. And I got to one of my friends' rooms who I knew was on a different schedule, and I knocked on the door. I'm like, dude, let me in. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, they're inspecting my room, and he let me in, and then we played video games.
And you weren't supposed to be in your room because you're supposed to be working or something?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
guy. What a slacker.
I was young and dumb.
Young. Well, the reason I bring up Tony Hawk Pro Skater is because they are re-releasing it. They have redone the game for modern consoles. I think it's like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, or it might be the first 3 kind of combined into like one game, but they're like bringing back like a lot of the music and all sorts of things. It's going to be hard for me not to buy that game because I just hours and hours and hours and hours of grinding them rails and doing them sweet flips and living out the dreams of skating that I could never do with my awkward and not coordinated physical form.
That game is how I learned to appreciate Rodney Mullen, who his street skating style was so unique to me, from like doing like, you know, all the half pipe stuff that Tony Hawk is wont to do, right? Like the street style with like the manuals and the dark sides and all that type of cool shit. Stuff that I couldn't do, but the stuff that was more interesting to me because it was more more artistic to me, I guess, a little bit. I did watch a TED Talk with Rodney Mullen not too long ago where he was talking about making moves, because he was a champion going into like 1983, like a skateboarding champion, doing kind of standard skating, and then the scene changed on him, and so he had to adapt, and he had to take some of the things that he knew how to do and put it more towards like the grinding and the slides and kick flips and varials and manuals and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I always like really appreciated the X Games when I was like a teenager, and like I was never an extreme sporter myself, but I was fortunate enough to be a teenager in San Diego when the X Games was hosted in San Diego for a couple years. Actually got to go one year. I got to watch like the half pipe finals for skateboarding and stuff like that. So really awesome atmosphere, you know, when I was a teenager doing that stuff. But yeah, fun times. Yeah. Now when I see the X Games on, I'm like, oh yeah, that's still a thing. And I keep clicking, but good for them.
Yeah. In the music in Tony Hawk Pro Skater was always, I mean, a lot of that music is still in my playlists.
Yeah. And then you think of the game when you hear it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. I think we have reached the end of this evening's event. Lots of fun stuff. So yeah, make sure you're if you're new or you're here for the first time, hit that follow button. We're gonna do some game streaming this week. Come on back for more fun. We're here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and various shows. But appreciate all you guys hanging out. Thank you for contributing to the fun. And that Hawk 900, remember that? I remember Tony Hawk doing a 900. I do remember that.
Oh, I do. I remember that.
That was exciting stuff.
I up my lights, and now I'm darker.
Oh, you turned your lights off. I guess that means the show's over, everybody.
Just one of them.
Oh, just one.
Just one.
Well, thank you guys so much, and yeah, until next time, you know who we are.
Hey.
We'll see you around.
Yeah. Hey. Thanks again, Vest Lord, and everybody rating us. Appreciate having you. It was fun times.
Should we raid somebody? We got some folks hanging out.
We should re-raid.
Re-raid. Let's keep the hype train rolling.
Hype.
But I'm gonna need from you guys. You know, I'm gonna need a suggestion on a channel. Raid. So yeah, if you guys have a channel that you love over on Twitch, somebody that is streaming right now that you think we should be raiding, let us know. Let us know who that is. I'll also do a quick search.
Quick search it. People are leaving Travis. Oh my God!
Don't leave, guys. Come on. Who? Are there any X Games on Twitch right now? Can we? Should we find a Minecrafter?
While you're looking that up, I told a joke to the Podfest guys the other day, and the main dude, Chris Kermitsos, mentioned me with everybody, and the joke is this: what do you get? And you know this joke. What do you get when you cross an elephant with a rhino?
Elephino.
Elephino. And they just thought that was the funniest thing they'd ever heard.
Really?
But also a dad joke.
Oh man, I was just scrolling looking for a channel to raid, and then I saw us on Twitch, and I was like, "Those guys look familiar." Oh wait, I know who they are.
Hey,
I know those guys. Yeah. No suggestions coming from anybody? Let's look up a Minecraft stream.
Okay.
We talked about Minecraft for a bit. We're gonna find a smaller Minecraft channel. Let's see.
Minecraft, your craft. Everybody's craft is crafting.
Everybody crafts the craft. It's always weird when you do like a blind kind of raid and you don't know who you're raiding.
Yeah, you know what we should do from now on, like just establish very, 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 very early on who's around to raid. If Dean is around and doesn't end his stream before us, then we have our go-to. You know,
we've got our little collection of people.
Remember Dean? Don't end before us.
Yeah, we'll raid him if he's on. I don't know.
Can we raid Periscope? I don't know if we
can. We raid Periscope? I don't think Periscope is on Twitch.
Oh my
I don't know. I'm not finding anything I love. I don't know.
Raid me.
Hey.
Raid me.
This guy has lots of viewers. Who's this guy? Minecraft Monday.
Oh, hey, we have more than one viewer on Periscope right now.
Oh, hi Periscopers. Let us know how. Apparently, you can Twitch back to us or chat back to us. So let us know that you're on. Let us know what you think. This is Tim Petty. He's doing some serious.
Just a joke. It was just a prank.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Oh my fuck. Oh my fuck. No. Oh, she hit herself.
It means nothing to me.
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Just pick it. Oh no. Yeah.
This guy's getting attacked by a witch. He's very upset about it. Raid me. Wait, that's you, Brandon. I can't raid you.
It's a Nirvana reference.
Hyper RPG is apparently someone you follow on our channel.
Yeah, do it. Let's fine.
Okay. They have. Let's follow. We're gonna raid some hyper RPGers here, guys.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing. It's IRL on the road from LA to Seattle. They're
Perfect. That's
Uh,
the one I thought.
that's what we're gonna raid. All right. So, hang tight if you're ready to raid with us. Here comes the info. Hyper RPG. They're outdoors. They're eating some food. So all right, guys, we're out of here. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Remember, spread the love over in the chat. Say hi. Speak good things of us, and we will see you later. Rating right now. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
And then Periscope people are like, what's a raid? And the YouTube people are like, they always talk about rating, but I don't know what they're doing. Rating is when we basically send our viewers to another stream.
Gosh.
And
I can heart us so much by just doing this. I should just be doing this the entire time.
heart us so much. We have a huge.
Now, if I have more than one
heart.
phone, I could just be like that the entire time and be like, "Oh my god, these guys are getting lots of hearts."
Yeah.
Hearts.
I think they're ending too. Looking at their chat now, it looks like everybody is saying goodbye. So we rated a stream that is ending. But no worries. Thank you guys so much, whatever platform you're on. If you're watching on Periscope, thanks for checking it out. Come be part of the conversation over on Twitch or over on YouTube, and follow us over there. And we are going to officially end